What's up, y'all? Devon here again for Obligatory, bringing y'all another music news roundup for this week, Friday, June 30, 2023. We hope you're enjoying some of the great new music that came out this week. We got the Lil Uzi Pink tape that people have been waiting on for quite some time. There's a new Alchemist EP out, which feels like an extension of his This Thing of Ours series under a new title, and really new great albums all over the place, from Chester Watson to V's to Green Chattin' of Fontaine's DC, Sweeping Promises, and many more. But we have a new releases YouTube video that we post, and this is the music news. We start with, unfortunately, the end of an era in PC music, announcing that they will cease to release music after the end of this year. Now, if you're not very familiar with PC music, you probably still can see a lot of their influence in today's popular music in general. Now, this all started, it was all founded back in 2013 when they were releasing their original various artists' record label releases on SoundCloud. And then 10 years later, many of the artists supported by this label are well known for their bubblegummy and futuristic takes on pop music, which really seemed to revolutionize the idea for many fans. And now we see this hyper pop and bubblegum aesthetic being played into a lot of really popular songs that we all know and love. And so a lot of fans see them as being a very important, iconic, and influential group of musicians for music today. And this all comes to a close at the end of a decade, which in the grand scheme of things is really a short amount of time. Now, they have announced that they will continue to release archival, special releases, and an undisclosed amount of music for the remainder of the year. But at the end of the year, it seems like all parties involved are going to be moving on to newer and different horizons. Now, I did mention previously that Lil Uzi Vert's Pink tape has finally arrived. We've been talking about this in multiple installments of this news series. And now Lil Uzi and Nardwuar have reunited for another interview on Nardwuar, the Human Serviette's YouTube channel. And this comes 5 years after the initial viral interview that they did in 2018.
A Rob Zombie poster.
You may remember from most of it, Lil Uzi's like running away from Nardwuar. Of course, Nardwuar gives him a ton of gifts. They talk about all kinds of stuff, from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World to Rob Zombie to Call of Duty and so much more. We all love Nardwuar because he takes it to another level with some of our favorite artists and gives us the fun facts that only an FBI agent would be able to tell us. A new, previously unreleased MF Doom track has hit the internet, and it features Mr. Fantastik, and it's produced by Madlib. Now, if you're an MF Doom fan, that's pretty much enough to make you say, whoa. And to be honest, I don't have too much information about why this dropped now, how long it was under wraps, and whose hard drive it was sitting on in the first place. You know, with the recent passing of Doom and the rarity of Mr. Fantastik features, coupled with this Madlib production that could potentially tie it to one of those eras we really know and love well, it's obviously a very exciting thing for many hip-hop fans to see just basically come out of nowhere up onto the internet. Now, on to another collab that for me is really, really exciting. Westside Gunn revealed that he's been in the studio with JID and Denzel Curry. And we saw this in an Instagram reel he posted with JID, Denzel, and some other people in the studio together. And we're even hearing a snippet of JID's verse over some Griselda-ass beat, with Westside Gunn starting to follow it up before the video cuts off. And then we also saw recently Westside Gunn on stage with JID, so they're hanging tough, and it seems like they got some new music coming. Westside Gunn is always curating and sort of A&Ring his own albums with a flurry of really interesting, dynamic, and sometimes unexpected features. Now, you may remember a few weeks ago, I was talking about how Sampha is outside. Sampha was teasing new music online. He was scheduling new performances in New York and London. And Drake even posted on Instagram that they have a new song that they're working on together. We're going to talk more about Drake a little bit later and his album announcement. But we finally got a new single from Sampha, the first in over 6 years. It's titled Spirit 2.0. And I think if this is something that you've been waiting to hear for a long time, if you've really been waiting since the days of Process, I think you're going to be really excited and happy with this song. But I would like to know what your initial reactions are to the song down in the comment section, as well as what your hopes and dreams and excitement level is for any upcoming music, or maybe the potential of an album. We'll see what happens from here, but we are officially on Sampha watch for Sampha season. It seems like it's happening. It's coming soon. Finally, I've been waiting. We're also hearing little bits of news here and there that Vampire Weekend's 5th album is close to done. Now, the band's been pretty quiet as of late. They haven't released an album since 2019, I think, with Father of the Bride. But more recently, they have been releasing concert vinyls, and with one of these came a newsletter in which we got this information about the album almost being done. And the other nugget of info that came came from it was that Ezra, the lead singer, has been studying raga music. If you're unfamiliar with raga, it is the framework and the essence for a lot of Indian classical music. It has kind of a standard for note intonation and melodic mode and things far beyond my understanding of music and theory. While I don't really know how that translates to Vampire Weekend's music, I am accustomed to them pulling from a wide variety of influences to incorporate into their own sound. And I think they're very good at doing this, so I trust that this is in good hands with Ezra and the band. Are y'all excited about a Vampire Weekend, or is this just me? This is just me. I'm talking about it for me. Let me know. Now, depending on who you are, this might make you feel really old, but Earl Sweatshirt's Doris album is about to turn 10 next month. And he's announced via social media that he will be performing the album in its entirety for a concert in LA. Again, just wow, you know, time flies, first of all. But second, I think this is really the most popular, most widely accessible Earl album that put him to the masses, so to speak. Even though I think a lot more hardcore fans of Earl are gonna be more partial to albums like some rap songs or Sick or I Don't Like Shit, I Don't Go Outside. Now for me personally, this takes me right back to the Free Earl era, the Odd Future era, when we didn't know if we were ever gonna get Earl music again. Bro was out in the Samoas at boarding school or whatever the hell was happening. And when this actually happened, when we actually got this album, it felt beyond surreal. And it's wild to think that that is already 10 years in the rearview mirror at this point. So if I could be there, I would. Let me know if you have plans to try to go. And what are your thoughts about Doris, 10 years later? Does it still hold up for you? Is it still an album that you listen to kind of regularly? So as it turns out, Freddie Gibbs and Curren are not that cool with one another, I suppose. Now they have an album together, one I really like. It's called Fetty. It's produced by The Alchemist. And based on some tweets and some Instagram posts from Freddie Gibbs himself, we can kind of understand two things. One, Freddie and Curren did not work together much after recording this album. They didn't shoot any videos. They didn't do any shows. They definitely haven't worked on any new music since, which would imply that we're not getting a Fetty 2. I mean, the way it's looking, we're not even gonna get a feature or nothing. I'm sad about this. This is probably two of my favorite rappers of all time. Now, Freddie and Curren actually go quite a ways back, like back further than this Fetty project, all the way to the legendary Covert Coupe mixtape by Curren and The Alchemist. But yeah, I mean, sounds like a Fetty 2 was never gonna happen. So that's sad. Two of my 75 favorite rappers of all time don't like each other. Next up, I have a grouping of concert cancellations that have been totally rampant through the news in the last 2 weeks, starting with Gorillaz, who announced a short stint in the US and then canceled it 3 weeks later, citing scheduling conflicts and circumstances beyond their control. Feeble Little Horse, much more indie group, but released a great album that was met with plenty of acclaim, announced that they won't be going on tour and kind of citing the overall health of the group and kind of making it sound more or less like it's some deeper than music reasons why they shouldn't go on tour. Orville Peck canceled an entire tour citing mental and physical health. Shauf has been dealing with chronic back pain as a result from performing and canceled an entire tour. Tennessee rapper BbyMutha, who by the way is dating Fly Anakin, announced that she will not be going on tour and citing production issues. Madonna, you might have seen, has canceled her tour after being hospitalized for a serious bacterial infection. We hope that she gets well soon. And Kid Cudi was set to have his Moon Man Landing festival happen, and it was not approved by the city, and so it had to be canceled. And they were set to have performances from Kid Cudi himself, Lil Uzi, Coi Leray, Suicide Boys, and a bunch of others. Definitely sad. I love concerts. I'd be down bad about it for sure if I wanted to go to any one of these. Drake is announcing a new album and has a title for the album. It'll be called For All the Dogs. And we don't know exactly when it's coming, but it was announced alongside the release of a poetry book. Now, Drake is a solid rapper. I like Drake a lot. Rap is poetry. We know this, but you look at this book, it is lacking on the poetry. This is a book of Instagram captions. I'm showing some of the pages on the screen. A lot of people are doing these poetry books now, and a few weeks ago I talked about how Arlo Parks announced one alongside her My Soft Machine album. And her book is a book. It really comes with a set of unreleased poems by her, as well as official lyrics for the album and exclusive photo shoot material in the book as well. Now, if I'm an Arlo Parks super fan, this is definitely something I'm considering buying. It's something that really adds to the scope of her music. But this Drake poetry book, I had to use separate quotations there because both of those claims, I'm not feeling them. It just seems like the lowest rung, the lowest hanging fruit of a cash grab idea for Drake. All right, that's it for all the news. We have some album announcements that we are putting up on the screen. This is all the announcements of albums that we have dates for obligatory things that we're keeping our eyes on. Lots of really interesting stuff here in like the September section. This is really starting to get loaded up. This week had a particularly interesting set of fresh album announcements, including James Blake, Olivia Rodrigo, Jeff Rosenstock. Also Flatbush Zombies announcing that their Better Off Dead mixtape is coming to streaming in September. There's a lot of really cool, interesting stuff on this list, particularly a lot of stuff I'm really excited to hear. But definitely let me know if there's anything on this announcements list that really caught your eye, as something you're really looking forward to. Maybe we should even review it when it comes time. If you're not familiar with Obligatory, we do community album reviews that get you involved. We ask our followers to contribute to our community scores. We also do a weekly new releases YouTube show to accompany this show, in which Dominic breaks down all the individual album and single releases that came out this week and the ones that we are really paying attention to. Clicking the like button on this video is all you need to do to help us right now, but if you want to keep up with our future videos, definitely hit the subscribe button and follow us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit. We got all that. It's all down in the description. And of course, I'm going to be back here with another one of these videos next week. So until then, thank you for watching and we'll see you next time. Thanks.